Scientists may have figured out why your eyebrows look like that. The human face can express a world of emotions that would not be possible without our eyebrows. They're a big part of what makes us human, and yet we still don't really know where these two little worms of wriggling hair came from or why. Now researchers in Europe have identified the genes behind a spectrum of brow shapes, from thick and bushy ones to thin and wispy ones, and as it turns out, many of the genes are shared globally. Our eyebrows keep sweat and light out of our eyes. They help us communicate, and depending on their size and shape, they can be seriously attractive to others. So for years now, scientists have wondered if the thickness of human eyebrows is subject to natural or sexual selection. But there has been very little data available on the genetic factors that define our brows. Despite the immense efforts in mapping genes underlying human complex traits, we still know much more about the genes that make us sick than about those behind our healthy looks, says molecular biologist Manfred Keizer from the Erasmus University Medical Center Rotterdam in the Netherlands. He said, "Our study significantly improves the genetic knowledge of human eyebrow appearance by increasing the number of known genes from 4 to 7 and delivers new targets for future functional studies." Previously, studies have looked at the genetics behind eyebrow thickness in those of Latin America or Chinese descent, but this new research is the first to incorporate Europeans as well. The research took place among 9,948 individuals, split across 4 different ancestral lineages, including those in Europe, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Australia. Researchers identified 3 previously unreported genes tied to eyebrow thickness in those of European descent: SOX11, MRPS22, and SLC39A12. And they also identified 2 other genes that were discovered in past brow research on non-Europeans, SOX2 and FOXD1. Meanwhile, another 2 genes reported in non-Europeans, EDAR and FOXL2, had no apparent effects in Europeans. By having demonstrated that eyebrow variation is determined by both shared and distinct genetic factors across continental populations, our findings undermine the need for studying populations of different ancestries for unveiling the genetic basis of human traits, including but not restricted to physical appearance, says Keizer. The thickness of a person's eyebrows is known to be a strongly inheritable trait, but previous studies on the evolution of brow thickness suggest that SOX2, FOXD1, and EDAR genes are not subject to significant selection pressures. This could imply that human eyebrow thickness is not sculpted through mate choice or survival, but as a neutral feature, quote-unquote, with no apparent link to individual fitness or attractiveness. That's a fascinating finding for such an inherently useful structure, our eyebrows, although there is a chance scientists simply are not examining the right genes. The newest brow genes identified still need to be probed for signs of natural or sexual selection, but there is a chance they could explain why we acquired such bushy forehead appendages, our eyebrows that is, in the first place. And this was published in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology. This is on Science Alert by Carly Casella. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.